Okay, I'm hoping the volume's okay. So, good news is the school thing, I think I already told you guys. But the bad news is I'm not gonna be able to do my book review thing because of other things, so I feel bad about saying stuff. But I really just, I should have realized it wasn't gonna happen. I'm hoping maybe I can do in the future. I've actually kind of paused on the readings where I got one book, the third book in one trilogy, and and I'm trying to figure out where I left off on a different book. And then I accidentally, when everything went well with the school thing, I thought I was buying the book version of one book, the only other book couldn't find YouTube, library, or otherwise. I ended up buying the audio, so now I gotta buy either a CD player thingy or borrow mom's once I get to that point. But I have the first book to read first. So, Pokemon, or the official Pokemon whatever, gave us some more information, some more Pokemon, some more things about the Dynamax and Gigamax, as well as a few more characters, as well as I'm gonna finally talk about, since this was official trailer and yada yada from the convention, I didn't get to say my opinion because it didn't happen then. It happened later on. So I'm gonna be talking about everything since the trailers, I believe. So pretty much, at least I think so. So pretty much when they were starting to do like a gameplay thing, so when they introduced the first water gym leader and etc. I'm hoping to make this short because I still haven't fixed my computer, so it's pretty much, I only have it for about 3 hours, and I already used a chunk of time looking up stuff when I found this out. So pretty much, there is more Pokemon, and I'm gonna be doing a video like I'm gonna be this is probably the only thing I'm probably gonna still try to do videos for as of right now, because I'm trying to I got stuff to do, so and I've already decreased as much as I have with videos. It's just the fact of I don't feel like I want to completely give it up. And so whatever I do, at least I'm trying. So, Pokemon's the main thing because as of right now, my first original person I watched for with X and Y and Sun and Moon kind of stopped doing stuff. I don't know why. The last thing they posted was that the first video of the days until Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then a gameplay thing, and that's it. So I'm guessing their lives have been just busy. So pretty much I've adapted to Lox and Noggin and somewhat a Birdkeeper Toby. I kind of want to do the Rowlet, but because it's mainly rumor stuff I keep hearing, and I've already looked into one leaked rumor kind of thing that actually ended up being legit, like with chunks of it. By the time we got the official trailer, it was certain things were confirmed from this leak. Pretty much it's just the fact of keeping an eye out for these things. Honestly, I just take it as is. I usually will wait until after something is up, because I usually look at Bulbapedia 90% of the time, but now I'm also looking at 2 other websites. I'm actually gonna check to see what the second one is called. The Pokemon website is one now that I'm doing, and I kind of did with Sun and Moon mainly, but not as much as I did the other one. And then this one is Cerebi, which I think is made by a fan, but they get all their information there, the most accurate supposedly. So I started bookmarking them too. So pretty much and one thing I'm gonna say ahead of time, and I'm gonna make an official complete list. So this is part theory, part review, part my intake on one particular detail, which has been annoying. So you're going to gain a little bit of a backstory to me if I haven't already told you in the past. So mainly it's just the fact of I'm going to start with the typing thing, since that's the quickest thing I'm going to be able to get through. So we've got our 3 stars, which is fire, grass, and water. We've got 1 normal Pokemon. We've got the 1 electric Pokemon, which was released with the gameplay. And then we had another one, which I'll get into in a minute. And then we most recently got, as of today, a fairy type, a rock type, the official thing for the electric type from the gameplay. And then we got dual types. Now, the only dual type so far we've got that we've had before is a water rock. We've got 3. Actually, I'm doing my typings now because it's like originally I was doing something with a website dress up game thing where I was making all the types. I started with, it was supposed to be just for a little contest thing where I couldn't decide which one, so I went through all the singles type Pokemon, picked the 8 I liked, designed them, and then picked which ones were not as good as another until I got down to one, which ironically was the first one I actually made the design and saved, etc. So then I just decided to start doing the dual types. Now, when Pokemon Sword at this time, Pokemon Sun and Moon were the new thing, so ones that I did do have spoiler on it, unless it was officially before, because this was before the game came out. So, but now it's gonna be like, I'm not even doing any of Sword and Shield because I have so many dual types I still have to do, that by the time I get done with it, probably it will be already Sword and Shield coming out. So then I want to get those done though before the Sword and Shield come out. Anyway, the only other thing about it is that it's not just the fact that there's certain types that have never been done, which I have a list to. I'm already on page 2 of said list. I'm gonna go through it, a little bit of it, but it's like we have 11 fighting dominant. So like in the dual type, it's the first one of the 2 types that's listed. If you go on Bulbapedia, which is what I prefer doing, especially, you can see what I mean where it's like the box is whole when it's just one type, but it's split 50-50, and they actually separate out one type from another. There are 11 out of 17, because you can't count the single type, which would make it 18 technically, because there's 18 types, etc. 11 out of 17 fighting dominant dual types that have not been created. Because ironically enough, people think, oh, this type has been created, you can count it as both things. Well, going through stuff when I was trying to make out my list and getting back into the little art design practice thing, that etc., I realized that it is it's not really that counts as both types. It just counts as one type. So, actually, the weird thing is what I've counted so far is there's only one that actually doesn't have, or that has the least amount of dominant of that type's dual types made, and that is water, with water normal and water fire. There's a fire water, but not the water fire. And fire water was one of our newer ones back when between X and Y, or maybe I don't think it was Sun and Moon, it was X and Y, which was this big surprise. So all we're waiting for is I will go into it when I do what dual types have not been created pre, and then what dual types that have not been created post. So anything that outside what I'm saying now, until that, or if I'm introducing the Pokemon, until I make that official video, which will probably be since this is going to be, I think, November 15th, between October 15th and the week before it would come out. Video of the pre, and then the post will be between Thanksgiving and the New Year. I promise you I'm going to be doing those 2 videos no matter what happens with everything. And then, ironically enough, flying, oh my gosh, in heaven, there is only one pre-Gen 8 flying dominant dual type, where there's the 16 of the 17 other ones are not existent, because flying has been complicated. Now till we get the new game, it'll be 15 out of 17 that have not been created, but I will get into that in a minute. But yeah, I'm almost done actually doing this, so I'm hoping I can make this video and then just save it and then hold on to it, because in that video I won't be talking about anything from Gen 8. Anyway, so we got a couple of ones. Yamper, which was this electric dog type, which is pretty much a corgi, which is a very popular dog in the European nation, in certain areas obviously, has been officially, hold on. Okay, so if you hear a little sound, it's my phone saying I have a message, if they even leave one. So we officially got the confirmation of Yamper, which is this little electric puppy, which was actually in the leaks, weirdly enough. And then Impidimp, which is this dark fairy, which is one of the ones that have never been created in either, pretty much there's no fairy dark and there's no I think, but I haven't gotten to fairy yet. Right now I'm on actually dragon, so I won't be able to do that until later. And Impidimp were the two, and then they finally gave us a little bit more today. We have 3 new Pokemon, one being a fairy type, one being a rock type, and one being a new dual type, which I know for sure, or I don't know for sure, has been created, because like I said, I'm on dragon, but it is a dragon type. Alcremie, as well as a few other things, and like I said, this might be a longer video. I do apologize for talking long, but you know me. So, the first one seen is this it's a fairy Pokemon. I'm okay with it. I've been waiting for something like this. It looks like it came out of something in anime or somebody's fan art, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I actually do enjoy this Pokemon. I think it looks neat. It's called Alcremie, the cream Pokemon, and I love it. If I did a purely food-based thing. Now, fruit grass Pokemon is a difficult situation. Like, there's certain ones I would count and certain ones I wouldn't. Like, if it has fruit on it, maybe, but mainly it has to actually look like food. So, like Vanillite, Vanilluxe, Vanillish. This Pokemon, Bounsweet only. I don't know if I count Steenie or Starina, etc. The next one is a Roly-Coly, which is a rock Pokemon, which is it looks pretty much like coal, so I'm very intrigued about it. But like I said, I'm mainly focusing on what dual types do we still officially need, and specifically in which is the dominant, which is the submissive one. And then we got this one, Duraludon, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, which is a steel dragon. Again, I am starting to do my steel dragon types listings, because I actually now I don't have this, and I gotta look at one other thing, but I pretty much, back when Sun and Moon came out, or even pre-Sun and Moon, I printed out a whole list back when I still had long paper to do that. I gotta actually look up a couple things, but yeah. Anyway, pretty much it is the fact of, actually I'm gonna pull that part up now so that way I don't have to do it there. We got new Pokemon finally since the gameplay, and now we've also got a little bit more information. There are going to be region variants. Like, there's going to be 2 specific Pokemon Sword and Shield, and 2 specific Pokemon or 2 specific Pokemon Sword and 2 specific Pokemon in Shield. I might have to go into the Pokemon thing. I know I saw it on the Pokemon website because that is what I am on. version exclusives information. So in Sword, you will only get Jang, Mo-O, and Dino, and in Shield you get Larvitar and Gumi. And then there's, besides the two Pokemon, gym leaders that we've gotten, which is the water type and the grass type ones, which I like both of them. We are getting ones that we have a gym variant, which means in Sword, which was, in all honesty, the one I would have picked, but now I'm questioning if I want that or not. We would have gotten the fighting type gym leader Bia, and I think it said on the Cerebi that her Pokemon is Hitmontop, though I don't know where we see that. And then in Shield, which is the one I might consider now, you get Alistair. Now, I want to play Alistair, so I'm hoping whoever does any gameplay stuff, which there's gonna be like 2 people doing this, where one probably will do Sword and the other one do Shield. I kind of liked my original guy that did stuff because the way he did it, where there was only a certain amount of talking involved. Not that I don't mind the players talking, because you're experiencing kind of with them, and this goes into what I will be saying at the very end, which might be the second longest thing now. Another thing is they talk more about the champion Leon, which actually makes me question the leak that we got that certain things were confirmed off of in the sorry, I'm just moving this so my cat can see or sit. About Leon, because now it feels like more and more that leak might be actually legit, because it feels like it almost. Turns out with the uniforms you'll be wearing for this gym thing, you get to pick your own number. If I did get this game, which I am, any of these games, which I am not, I would pick the number 888, which is not associated with any Pokemon, but that's my favorite number, 8. Then we get 2 other people, which I think are the original creators or main chairman. I think is the chairman and his secretary, which is pretty much his vice president. Chairman Rose and Elena. Now, between the 4 new people we've gotten, I'm most intrigued to see if maybe instead of Leon, it is Rose that maybe is the bad guy, because I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen this happen in many tropes. And then like I said, I'd rather get Alistair than B, but I'd rather have gotten Sword than Shield. But now I like Alistair. He looks creepy, and we don't have that many ghost people. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go check my cat, who's being a little Dorkenstein. What are you up to? She saw something, and then I thought she wanted to chase it. I don't know what. I like Bia's, but like most of our fighting type people now are mainly almost chicks. It seems like we got enough chick fighting types people. Not that I'm saying up sexist or anything. It's just, I don't know. I want a dark gym leader, in all honesty. That's what I'm waiting on, a dark gym leader. I think that's the only type I've never seen a gym leader for. I'd have to go through the thing again. Anyway, besides that, those 2 things, now there's Dynamax and Gigantamax. Or Gigamax, whatever. Don't judge me. Or Gigantamaxing. So, Dynamax happens to certain Pokemon in the Galar region only. But it seems that, and I don't know how many Pokemon they showed that weren't Galar only Pokemon, but now there's something even more exclusive, which if I did get the games, most likely would not happen because you have to have the internet, and I don't know how that works. The Gigantamaxing is for certain Pokemon, and it changes their shape. It's almost like their version of Mega Evolution. It doesn't change their typing though. And Alchemy, Alcremie, Corviknight, and Dreadnought are the only 3 we've gotten to see that have this form. I'm very looking forward to Alcremie gameplay scene wise. But yeah, that is that. Anyway, the next part I believe is what's been going on. So I'm gonna start with me and then go into what's been going on. So I was born 3 years before the first Pokemon games were out, 93. They came out in 96, soon after we got the anime, and it just took off from there. So by the time I was 3 to 4 and 5, I was probably 4 to 5 years old, so 97, 98. I was most likely watching Pokemon on Cartoon Network. Sorry, I got butt bites. And when I moved to where I live now, my parents got me for my first birthday, which was my 8th, officially, Pokemon Gold. And then over the years, I slowly was getting other games. The next time they got me another game was when the year I graduated for either the year I was graduating or the year I did graduate, so 2010, 2011, Pokemon Black. Yeah, which is ironic because that is Unova and I live in the United States. Mainly with that being said, I couldn't get all the games because they're very expensive. My parents got me Gold along with the game console at the time, so that was very expensive. Eventually, I got myself the next game console, which was the DS Lite, twice because my mom stepped on it. Never get a console that looks the same color as your carpeting. I'm not kidding you. Or your couches, probably, depending on the shade. Not back then, it was just bright red and then the blue. So, eventually I was able to get certain games. I got red, blue, and yellow. I gave yellow, or red or blue, I can't remember which now, I have to look at stuff, to a cousin of mine who ended up selling it, and trust me, I gave him an earful, and I do this every time I tell my backstory about this. I eventually got a silver, but then I found out it was a glitchy one where it could not save. Eventually, I got Pokemon Sapphire, and then eventually Pokemon Ruby. I finished Sapphire, and that's probably the only one, at least the main gameplay story. I don't know if I can't remember if I ever became champion for sure, but I think I did, and that's the only one I've really finished, where I became the champion officially. I did later on with another game, but that's later on in the story. Eventually, I think I don't know what game I traded, but I traded it for a Pokemon Platinum, and then I got Black. Of course, I got Black, and I probably did at some point finish the game story-wise, but anything past that, I didn't. Okay, sorry about that. Love when people call. Anywho, so pretty much what I ended up doing was, I think I was talking about Black. My cousin let me borrow Pokemon White, and he had already finished it, but he wanted me to find the Pokemon in it. Since that was around the time I was trying to figure out originally how to do the internet thing so I could trade online or find Pokemon online. I could not. And then I went down south from where I live, and I helped a friend play for. They had originally gotten one game, but they were going to get the other one, and asked me for a little bit of financial help. And in return, because I was only going to be there temporarily. From the time we bought it, the second one, to the time I had to go back home, I got to play it. So, for Black 2 and White 2, I don't know which one it was. I think it was White 2, but I don't remember. So I got to play a little bit of that, and they had the other game. Because mainly the time my Wi-Fi was limited, and even I had just got my tablet like soon. Same year I got my Pokemon Black game, I got a tablet, so I didn't get to have Wi-Fi for that long. Anyway, then X and Y came out. I never got to play it. I watched gameplay from the person I did watch stuff from, and that was also the person I started looking at info and etc. from. I really loved their videos. I wish I could have found out why they kind of stopped. It never really was addressed. And then also, so I never got to play that. I never got to play Crystal. And I did play Emerald at one point because it turns out you can rent out games from your library. So I played Emerald for a little bit, but I didn't get to keep it, which sucked. Either that or I requested out the manual. And honestly, I don't know if they're doing manuals for this one, so it kind of sucks because back before the internet, that's all we got. So, and I mean, I rented those out like crazy if I didn't buy them. If I didn't buy the game, I made sure to buy the manual / Pokedex, because eventually they made it into one big thing instead of having just them separate. Mainly in X and Y that they became one big thing, which was fine, but still. Then with Sun and Moon, this was before we found out what area the thing was. I was hoping it was Greece, so I pretty much got bought the console for Nintendo 2DS. I was not doing 3DS. I wear glasses. It gives me a headache. And then I pre-ordered Moon, and I eventually got myself also a Rowlet, which I still keep by my bed. And then eventually, when I got it, I played it, and I did actually finish, but I'm actually contemplating about redoing my game, and this is the only time I would. I'd still pick the same starter I originally did, and my plan is, and eventually I will do it, it's just financially wise, what I'm doing is more or less the fact of, that is only when I have the most free time, and that actually just dropped. I have a lot less free time, especially right now, than I originally planned. And I was playing Sun, use Lyn for that, and then get Ultra Moon, and use Rowlet, and then if I did decide, like, Ultra Moon, I'd get Ultra Sun, and whichever one I did the best with for that one. Mainly it's just because I want to get all four, well, mainly Sun, Moon, and Ultra Moon, because I like Moon, because not just, there's regional or game variants in Sun and Moon. Now, I don't think I would probably eventually go and get Pokemon X, unless there's game variants in Y, between X and Y, which I'd have to check again. But mainly it's just the fact of I have to get Sun because I want a Alolan Ninetales very badly. I got Moon, and I had the Alolan Sandshrew and Sandslash. So this brings me to my point of what I started at the beginning and how I kind of was saying at the end. Pokemon Pokedex is the biggest part for me. Honestly, I am not getting the game because, for one thing, installation and the cost of the console part alone is probably would give any parent a headache. If you can afford that and if the installation's easy, good for you. But for me, we tried doing that with certain things and it did not work. So I don't even want to. And originally, I even was gonna get a Wii U or Wii at one point, but we decided not to do that because I would have been the only one playing it. It's kind of the same thing with this, where it's like you have to have a whole new console that also can connect to your TV. I honestly would not connect it to my TV unless it was charging, because I wouldn't want to do that. And the fact of the matter is, it's this giant thing. It's bigger than my Kindle, most likely, and I just don't feel like it's necessary. When it's off the TV stand thing, it looks like a game console, but still, it looks more like a tablet console. So I wasn't planning on getting this one, even though, and if I ever did, it'd be way in the future, probably definitely after I get Sun and Ultra Moon. So it's just the fact of I don't think that it would happen. That's why I keep up with stuff, and thank gosh we have the internet now so we can actually get this. But it's just a fact of now we're finding out that we're not getting a national Pokedex, and in all honesty, I'm stuck in the middle, because I love my national Pokedex, but not because of gameplay, but because in general. So I don't know what that's going to do to the decks on Bulbapedia, like on number wise, because it's not the national Pokedex. So unless they just do it anyway, that way so that way we know what number they are. I don't know, because actually with Sun and Moon it was weird because with certain numbers on the Bulbapedia Dex. Anyway, I'm gonna have to cut this short off soon because I'm gonna be losing some of my battery soon, or enough battery to where it needs to charge. So my standing is I like my National Pokedex mainly because, not because I'm a game player, but because of other essentials. And when I found out that they weren't going to do it, it's like, okay, because of the other side, where I agree with those who are not getting mad at this, where they're not freaking out. Because I get Pokemon's company's reason. Yes, they hire enough people, and they give them a lot of money as their wages to do the things they do, and they've been getting better and better, which means they've probably been spending more and more just on the employees. No wonder why it takes so long for us to get trailers, because we have to make sure, because sponsorship takes a lot of money as well, but it is one of the highest corporations, so I don't know. But it's just the fact of it would take too much out of the console and console in general to have all the Pokemon in there. I get it. You want to transfer your Pokemon into Sword and Shield, but also, really, do we really need it? Because it's like I said earlier, the Gigantamax thing is almost like Mega Evolution in a sense with these certain Pokemon. It's just the fact of it's a split kind of Mega Evolution where it's like you can grow big, but there's also ones that can grow big and change their form. So I'm stuck in the middle. It's like I'm 26. I'm an adult where it's like I don't really get mad if I don't see certain things. If there's something like a character does in the gameplay or anime that I really disagree with, then yes, I will get mad. But honestly, it's like we as the fans, yes, should be getting what we want, but the thing is, it's also the fact that this is a company that is bringing us this. The person who created this was not expecting to have, or probably never expected it to be this worldwide phenomenon, and now that it is, it's like sometimes that can be overwhelming to people, and then let alone to a company. It sounds like not just American fans, but Japanese fans and probably other fans worldwide are getting very upset about the no National Pokedex. And they did give us this explanation of not just time and money, but also the fact of, can the console handle this? Which they made a whole new console not just for Pokemon, but for other games too, but still, it's just the fact of, I feel like we're turning into tantrum little children if we can't accept that certain things are not always going to be and it's just the fact of certain things. I think that fans are overreacting. So I'm more on the side of I'm not mad about it more than I'm mad about it, but I do kind of hope there's certain things that will still happen with the Pokedex in general. So with that being said, I have to close this soon, so I will upload this in a little bit. But again, I will promise you I will do a what dual types we have and what we don't have of before Gen 8, and then post when everything is up and official probably between Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve, hopefully New Year's Day, because it's going to take a lot of time to get that all resituated. Yes, we've got a couple so far, but there's still going to be more coming to us soon, so I'm hoping that doesn't take too long. If anything else comes up with Pokemon in the next few months until like October 15th, which is when I'm going to start making, if not November 1st, that's when I'm going to be officially putting up the pre-Gen 8 single and dual type listings. Which I'm hope is going to be its own big thing. I'm hoping I can make it nice and long, and I'm hoping that YouTube will like me because I'm making it nice and long instead of like a short little video. Because I don't know if it's long or short ones that they don't like. Anyway, this is Sally saying off. Click like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys are having a good summer, and I hope to see you when the game comes. I'm gonna hear from you guys when the games come out.